day. 'Cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Come on, sing along. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA. Well, there's pride in
Everyone, welcome back to PintheQ Podcast, special episode number 23. And it's funny, I say special episode because this one is going to be a special.
Oh,
right?
thanks.
This one will be special.
I hope so.
We go back a long ways, man.
Real long ways.
Right? I mean, like, thinking back of, when I first started doing the show, there was a couple key people I thought I wanted to have on my show. And obviously, you were one of the first. You, like Roger Hall, like these guys that, have been around for such a long time, you know. And Roger was a tough sell. And then you finally came around. So it took about 23 episodes.
Yeah.
Right? 23 episodes for John to finally come on the show. But yeah, welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm super happy you're here.
I'm super excited. I was a little bit apprehensive when you first asked me, when you first started telling me about the show, and I was like, wow, that's like a big deal, And it's a bigger deal than I even thought it was going to be.
Well, just the production part of it is. So we were setting up in the firehouse, and we have all this stuff, all this equipment, and every firehouse I go to, I have the same challenge, and that's what chairs.
Right.
You think by now I would just bring 2 chairs?
You bring the world and the kitchen sink with you.
Yeah, I bring a table,
Yeah.
I bring all the stuff, and I bring chairs. I figure everybody has chairs. So in true Bayville fashion, John brings 2 green chairs, right? And as you notice, we're basically sitting on the ground.
That's all right though.
We're basically sitting on the ground.
But we're together.
We are together.
So
that's the whole point, right? Isn't that the whole point of the fire service?
It should be.
It really doesn't matter what we're doing.
Nope.
As long as we're doing it together.
I tell people all the time, you can go anywhere in the world and not even speak the same language, but if you're going to fight fire, you just get it done.
Yeah, it's true.
They'll offer you a cold beer or whatever they're going to give you to drink, something to eat, a place to stay. You go visit. Where do you go when you go on vacation? You visit firehouses, right? So It's the way it should be.
It's funny, too, because this particular firehouse, we have no AC, which is awesome. So it's a little hot in here, and the chief was a little concerned that you might see some beads of sweat on his head. So if you do, this is a no judgment zone, man. We don't judge.
That's good.
It's a real laid back show. But I wanted to come here because you have your logo. We have to have the green machine behind us.
Gotta have it. Everything in Bayville is green.
Yes, we're going to talk about that.
Yes.
So this episode is sponsored by two different people, which is pretty cool. The first is Next Rung. Everyone is familiar with Next Rung. We talk about this every episode. Everyone knows their mission at this point. Be sure to check them out. It's nextrung.org, and that is nextrung.org. Super great organization doing good things for the fire service. So I have 2 of these for you, one for each firehouse you can hang up. So if you guys need to speak to someone, they can do that. And, of course, we never push that on anybody, but we just offer it.
Yep.
And then the other one is Police and Fire Tags out of Lenoka Harbor, New Jersey.
Nice.
So they have a little gift for you at the end of the show.
I'm excited.
You have to wait to the end of the show. So 2 sponsors, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that for coming on board and helping out. So let's get into this.
Yeah.
So, Chief, the question I always start with, and that is, it's simple. How did it all start for you? And first, for the people who don't know who you are,
right.
I mean, I know who you are. Most people watching know who you are because, you know how I know? I keep getting, hey, you put out episode 24,
Yes.
but where's 23?
Yes.
So I got a call yesterday. I'm like, where's Johnny's episode?
Yep.
I'm like, tomorrow.
Yep.
Tomorrow it's happening. So let's tell everybody who you are.
They drive me nuts too with the phone calls, the texts, and just try to. It's got to be in Bayville fashion. It's got to be a little bit different.
Yeah,
So.
well, exactly.
Well, Chief John Anderson, Bayville Fire Company, Station 17, the fighting 17th.
Yep.
So it's always been, always will be. Man, I started here in 91.
Okay.
91. I went through fire school in 93. So prior to that, my father was a police officer and a truck driver. He worked 2 jobs his whole life. He was a volunteer firefighter up in Union with my grandfather. So you could say 3rd generation. My great-grandfather was the first motorcycle police officer in Union.
Cool.
So my parents came from up north and came down here, and I've been in Bayville ever since.
So 91, you know, obviously we're the same time frame.
Yep.
So much different,
Oh, dude.
right? I mean, so much different.
Yeah.
Tell me in your, you know, in your opinion anyway, or I'm sorry, through your eyes, I should say, what was different when you started? How is it different from today?
You know, when you start in the fire service, we'll start right from the beginning. When you first come in, you have the different, I don't want to say cliques, but genre of guys. You got like the aggressive, crazy, 100%, this is what I do, eat, breathe, everything. And you got the guys that are kind of like, bleh, you know, I just show up when it's cool with me, you know, if it's nice out or if it's not nice out, I'm here.
Right.
And you get the kind of guys that just kind of cruise under the radar. And I always looked up to the guys that were, you know, the guys. You know, you always had the big names. And you know, it's funny, I watch a lot of the episodes and I see all of the names and the chiefs and stuff. We all have the same names. And it's funny, and they always say that when you copy someone, it's supposed to be the biggest form of flattery.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, bigger.
Oh, God,
You know,
yeah.
Eddie
yeah.
Hazelton. And we keep saying his name over and over again.
Yeah.
I work with Biggs every day, and great guy. You know, and he's taught me so much because, and we'll talk about fires and stuff like that, but ever since the beginning, you know, when we went to fire school, when I came into the firehouse, you had the big names. When I went to fire school, you had the big names. So we'll go back to going into the firehouse. You know, you come into the firehouse, and you had always the guys that you didn't want to talk to. You're afraid of. They're like, oh, wow, they're the big, burly, you know,
Right.
gonna get it guys, you know.
Yeah, the guys you emulate.
Yeah. And, you know, you always wanted to be involved. You wanted to do everything. When I came here, you know, I don't think my first words were I wanted to be chief. I probably never wanted to be chief because I just wanted to be a fireman. You know, what kid doesn't want to be a fireman?
Yeah.
You know, that's just something you want to do.
Absolutely.
So, like I was saying before, my grandfather and my grandmother, my father, they were volunteers. My grandfather and grandmother were in Bayville First Aid for 50 plus years. My aunt has been in Bayville Fire Company, Bayville First Aid for probably close to that. So my cousins, my brothers, I have my whole family is in the service somewhere, right? So you come in the firehouse, and you know it's just different back then because the trucks looked bigger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The fires were bigger and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
But you know, you wanted to do stuff. You know, I remember my biggest goal when I first came in, I was a cadet, did the whole thing, and coming in was drill night. You know, you come to drill night and you want to watch the chief's car. So the chief would come in, and guys were like waiting at the door. So it was like all the young guys, and all the old guys are probably in the back laughing because
Yeah.
they were waiting for it to happen. But we were waiting by the door, and the chief or assistant chief would pull in, and you'd be like, hey, I got to drive the chief's car from around back. And I got to pull it out front, and I washed it.
Yeah.
You know, like that was the big thing for drill night. And you made sure that your stuff was clean, you know, because you represent. We have to represent.
And again, this is not this forum. Anybody who knows the show knows this forum is not about bashing anybody. That's not my goal. It's just basically to talk about the culture and the changes and traditions and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that happening today? Is our guys reaching out to not necessarily wash the Chiefs car, but do you have that type of commitment today?
A few. Not, I mean, as the chief, you always want to see everybody, but you got to remember you have so many different personalities. Some guys don't want to do it. Some guys can't do it. Some guys just don't think about it.
Right.
And I always wonder, and we were joking before, you know, our forefathers that when we first came into fire service, or even go back to when this department was started, did they say the same things we're saying now? Hey, you know, I need more guys to show up on drill night. I want these guys to take the garbage out. You know what I mean?
Well, and that was something, we kind of joked about before the show started when we were talking. And those of you who don't know, us personally, we've been friends such a long time that, this was obviously seamless. And we had such a good time leading up to this. And that's why, I told you this would just be basically us talking, with no stress. But, the fact that you told me you had to change all the garbage when you got here, people look at that two ways. They go, okay, well, that shows so much commitment when the chief's, not above changing the garbages and cleaning garbage. But why is it that way? If you get in here and, the younger guys in the fire department, because I know you've had some changeover, you've had some newer members. I'm telling you right now, I'm starting to see a little bit of a change in our department where people are doing that. But generally speaking, across the board, it's lost.
And I wonder if it's something because we don't keep pushing it, that it just kind of goes by the wayside.
But we're leading by example.
That's the thing. You have to lead by example.
Right.
But sometimes we do things that other people don't see.
Right.
With integrity, you do things because it's right, not because someone's watching.
Absolutely.
So I'll wash my car because it's time to wash the car, not because it's dirty. I check the oil because it's my car. I make sure that it's ready to go. I check my air pack in my truck because I want my stuff ready to go. One, not to point fingers at anybody else. It's not their equipment. It's mine. It's ours, but it's mine. I'm issued it. But hoping that people would pick up on that, hey, the truck's at 3/4 of a tank of fuel. We got a storm coming. I should probably top it off. Hey, you know what? It looks kind of stormy out today. Hey, honey, I think let's go to the store now and get done with our stuff, get back home, and I'm going to take a ride to the firehouse. Some guys get that, but I don't think other guys, sometimes they don't see it. Maybe we need to bring it to light. I don't know. What's the right answer?
Well, listen, we can talk till 4 a.m. about that. What is the right answer? But I think that I agree with you. I think that, obviously leading by example, doing it, people hearing these show, watching the show, hearing these stories and saying, hey, you know what, man, I realized, I'll give you an example. One of the earlier episodes I talked about, ice, for example. We have these coolers in the firehouse, and especially now,
right?
When you come in, all the junior guys are supposed to fill up the ice on the coolers, so this way it's always there.
Right.
It wasn't happening. It was like we had to. I would hear the chiefs and the captain and stuff. Hey, guys, you got to do this. It wasn't happening. Now all of a sudden, we talk about it on the episode, and I was so happy to see. Now it just happens, right? You see the young guys coming to the firehouse. They're not having to be told to do it. They're just doing it. They're going over. They're taking care of it. So we're starting to see a little bit. So I agree with you. I think it's because if we start to maybe talk about it, instead of us complaining and saying, oh, this isn't happening, that's not happening, maybe if we say to them, hey, you have to do this.
Right. It's almost being in the fire department, being, in the line or being a chief now, which is my second round. We'll talk about that later. That's a different story. It's almost like having, and I don't want to offend anybody, but it's almost like having 50 kids because they're all your family. We're all family, and you got to be the parent. You got to be the eyes looking over, and you have to think, 10 steps ahead of these guys. They're not thinking about, all right, alarm goes off, I get in the truck, I drive to the call. I'm thinking that tires are good, brakes are good, fuel's good, turnout gear's good, air packs are good, water supply is good. I didn't get any texts or emails that the hydrant system's down. We got heat coming. Hey, look, guys, let's fill the coolers. They're not thinking, some guys do, and I'll never take that away from some guys. I have some core guys that are always, and you always get your dirty dozen. Every firehouse. I don't care if you go from here to Portland, Oregon, you go to Miami, Florida, wherever you're going to go, just change the name on the front of the firehouse.
It's so true. And one of the cool opportunities I have is going around and seeing different fire departments, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Indiana. It's exactly, you just change the name out and change the patch.
Sometimes they talk funny.
Yeah. Well, some may say that we talk
funny, right?
Actually, when I went to Indiana, I have an accent. So I have a northern accent.
A northern accent. Well, it's, and running back to family, it's you know, I love these guys, and I'm not afraid to say that, and I'm not afraid to you know, correct them in private and praise them in public, and I'll always do that.
A lot of leaders aren't doing that, man.
I'm a big guy, and people know that I don't usually raise my voice. And, you know, a little shout out to my wife and my 2 kids, Jessica, my wife, who is exceptional with me doing this. She's been with me for a long time, and I've been in the fire service since I met her. The missed dinners, the missed birthdays. We were just talking before, I'm missing stuff tonight.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And she puts up with it. And my 2 kids, I have 2 girls, Jordan and Jaden. They are awesome. 2 totally different people.
And one is crazy.
You're not kidding. I'm telling you, I tell my mom that I should send her a bottle of wine and flowers every day because I am getting paid back. Trust me. Trust me. And just when I think it can't happen, just like here in Firehouse, that's why I say this is like family. Just like it can't happen, it does.
She is amazing, though. I tell you, if you want a good laugh, you just gotta follow your Facebook. And
I should wear like a GoPro because people would never believe me half of the stuff. You know, I try to put some positive stuff on Facebook. I'm not a Debbie Downer, and I'm like stuff like that. And some of the things I put on there, I'm like, I just hope that they see this when they're, you know, in their 20s and 30s and go, wow, what was I thinking?
Well, if it makes you feel any better, some of the stuff you post, I'm like, well, that's amazing. So no matter what kind of day I'm having, I see that, I'm like, I get a good laugh.
Yeah.
I get a good laugh at it. So, John, what is it about Bayville?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I think of Bayville, immediately what comes to mind is, and you said it good, you know, you said it good before when you said family.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about this community? Why is it so tight-knit? What is it about Bayville? To you, anyway.
You know, I've visited around the country. I've been around, you know, halfway around the world and seen different things. And I wish I could put my finger on it, but it's just that everybody knows Bayville. Like, if you all go away, you're still Bayville. You know what I mean? And I always remember when I first came into fire service, you know, we had gone to a fire mutual aid call over in Ocean Gate, and they were like, wow, Bayville's here. And it's like, that meant something to me, you know? And I remember that the way we were seen in the community, the way we were heard is Bayville's here. Everything's going to be all right. And we always try to uphold that.
Right.
You know, the bar was set for us by, you know, past chiefs, past members, past fires. You know, sometimes the fire dictates what you're going to do. And we always try to set that level high, you know, level 2 fast team, RIT team, whatever you want to call it. You know, all of our guys are trained. You know, we run, you know, 600 calls plus a year. And you know, we don't do EMS. We'll help them out. We do assistant lifts and stuff like that, but we don't run EMS. So that's pure fire calls. And, you know, I always tell my guys, be the guy you want showing up to your call. I've read it online, and you hate to quote other people, but that's serious stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like, I know if I'm in trouble, I want the top. Everybody wants the top coming. Like, you don't want some guy that's like, yeah, I haven't been to a drill or a call in however long. I'm just going to wing this. I don't want you to wing it, dude. Like, I need you to be 110% all the time.
And you know the guys that they haven't been to a drill, they haven't made any type of training, and then they get the job, and they don't even know what cabinet to go to for the equipment they need. That's the problem.
And that gets you, you know, it's the little things that, you know, bad things don't just happen. It's the little things that add up to it. All fires start small, you know. All problems start small, and they start to snowball and get out of control. So, you know, going back to taking the garbage out, if you don't take care of it now, and I always ask my kids, am I speaking a different language? You know what I mean? Like, I don't raise my voice. I don't resort to violence. You know what I mean? Like, what don't you get? Like, take the garbage out. Like, I'll take the garbage out. I roll the holes also. I'll pack the truck. I don't have a problem. I can drive any truck in here, and I expect my officers to. I don't think that's going crazy. I don't think I'm being selfish or out of control with some of my, you know,
You're not
requests.
asking anybody to do anything you can't or do yourself.
No, and I wouldn't send one of my guys where I wouldn't go. Absolutely not, 100%. I'm not afraid to throw a pack on and grab a nozzle. I don't ever get that chance, you know. But I'll never ask you to do something I won't do myself. 100%, absolutely not.
That's important, man. And I like the fact that there's, so much emphasis on community within the fire department. I know firsthand that, you guys do barbecues, you guys try to attend each other's events, birthday parties, that type of thing. And this is a very close-knit, very tight, family-oriented fire department. And it's been like that for a very long time.
Even though we're volunteer, 100% volunteer, you're here 3/4 of your life.
Absolutely.
3/4 of your time is at the firehouse, and like we said, we all stick together. We do the stuff together. We go to parties, we go to funerals, we go to different things together. One, to relieve the stress, but two, because we're together. We are a family.
How are you doing it? So here's the question: how are you doing it? How are you keeping these people together? How are you keeping this place the way it is? How does it remain the way it is?
It's a struggle. It is a struggle. You have to have a lot of patience, and like I said, my kids have taught me that. But like I said, prior to that, being here for a long time, seeing the forefathers of this department doing certain things, you have to have compassion. You have to love what you do.
No, 100%.
You know what I mean? You have to have integrity, and you have to. Sometimes you have to let things take care of themselves once in a while. You can't be the chief 100% of the time. You can't stomp your feet, slam your fist, flip over tables, whatever you're going to do, and say, this is the way it is, and that's it. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes, let the kids work it out.
Yeah, empower your people.
And I trust my guys. There's times where we were talking before, I take my kids out. I try to spend as much time with them as I can, because I do a lot of different other things. Work gets in the way, firehouse and, the band. Mm-hmm. So I bring them with me as much as I can. I do 100 different things with them, but you have to empower your guys and trust them. Even though I'm in Florida or I'm out camping somewhere in Pennsylvania, wherever it may be, I'm still the chief, and they respect that. But I empower them to make the decisions that need to be done, because they can't call me for everything.
And that's the thing. You need to empower your people, and you have to let them. You have to kind of let the leash out a little bit, because when you are in Florida, you're not here.
No,
you're here in spirit, but you're not here.
That's right.
So those people under you need to be able to perform as you would, and
Absolutely.
as you do. And if you don't, this has always been a pet peeve of mine. Working for individuals that are micromanagers, or they kick the ladder out from under them when they get to the top, or they don't want to give the training that they've received to others.
Right.
They don't want to empower their people. It's poor leadership, and unfortunately, it's like cancer. It's like cancer within the fire department.
You gotta trust your guys. You gotta let them run.
Yes.
Just let them do, and then guide them on their way. Because we're not. Let's be honest. We're not going to be here forever.
No.
You know what I mean? We can't be here forever. And I never thought I'd say this, but we are the older guys in the fire service.
Brother, you literally just took words out of my mouth. I was just going to say to you, can you believe we're the old guys now?
No.
It's crazy to me, man.
When we were talking before, when I went to the fire academy in 1993, it was 26 years ago.
And we didn't have a fire academy.
No,
remember?
no.
We went firehouse to firehouse to firehouse.
Absolutely.
Huh?
And you brought your stinky turnout gear in the back of your car.
Yep.
You never washed it. You didn't wash your hands. You ate at lunchtime with not going, to the restroom to clean up. We didn't do that stuff.
Yeah. It just wasn't there. The education wasn't there.
We just did it.
Right.
But we just did it because we're supposed to. And that's the thing is, you just do it. You know what you're supposed to do. You know what's going to happen. Just do it.
And isn't it interesting now to see the transition? Like now we're washing our gear and washing our helmets. Mm-hmm. Would you ever imagine you'd have to wash your helmet like that?
No,
that was like sacrilegious.
Yeah, you wanted to be the salty guy. Oh, don't wash those gloves; they're broken in.
Yeah.
I get it, but it's like now we're learning.
Yeah.
We learned a lot of different things, and the fuel loads have changed, the building construction's changed, and the things that I've seen with just the changes we were talking before. I wonder if the guys that started this company in the 40s, were they saying back then, hey, we should probably wash our stuff? I remember, and I know people are going to say, how old is this guy? I'm literally 22. I just turned 22. I'm only...
Yeah, me too.
But
me too.
I remember when I started in Bayville Fire Company, wearing 3/4 boots.
Oh, dude,
I remember complaining because my jacket was the 52s, the long jackets, and I was crawling on this thing, trying to crawl through houses, and I'm like, man, this is a pain in the butt. And I used to tie it up. I'd put a belt, or I'd tuck it up underneath my air pack, the old the old two,
The elephant hose. Bro, that's
take that off and stick it in your shirt. You can breathe on the way out.
right down the street in Bayville or
Yeah.
Beechwood. Same exact type. When I first started, we had I used to call it the Yosemite Sam jacket.
Yeah.
It was so long.
So long.
We had the pull up boots, and then finally when we first got bunker pants, I was like, it was like all black, no reflective stripes on or nothing. Like old boots.
And the burn marks and the discoloration
The
were
red,
your battle scars, man.
Yeah.
Like you wore that and you rode the tail step.
Yeah.
Like these guys now don't see that stuff.
Yeah.
Now we have,
They missed out on that.
let's
man.
take this truck because it's got air conditioning. Probably about 2-3 years ago when my brother was chief, we first got our first truck with air conditioning other than the chief's cars. We never had air conditioning.
Yeah.
We're in 2019, man. Like we were in like 2014, we didn't have air conditioning.
And speaking of your brother as chief, man, I mean, look around the equipment that you guys have now. A lot of that has to do with a lot of his efforts.
He's done, just about every piece of apparatus in here has been upgraded or changed or replaced during his tenure. And, we have, if we want to be the best, we have the best. Everyone will say, Ford, Chevy, Pepsi, Coke. Take the names off of it, and it's what you do with it and how you keep it.
The functionality.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he's always well above the curve. He's always thinking well above, he's 10 steps past what I'm thinking. And he's, he guides me sometimes. And, it's funny. My dad used to have to separate us with a baseball bat when we were kids because we would, we'd be in the driveway just duking it out, and my mom would scream, my dad would scream, knock it off. And then finally, when we were about 16, 17, we both became, junior members. And we were like, hey, if we work together, we're unstoppable. So for years here, we did the flip. I was chief first. He was my assistant chief. We came up, I flipped. I went back to assistant chief. He was chief. We worked together, but, he's still on the line. He was chief for 11 years. And we've both been here since he started in 94. And, the line now, he's back in the line. He's a lieutenant. He does his thing.
What's it like to have all these years together in the fire department with your brother?
Oh, it's awesome. My other brother Lester's here also.
That's right. How could we forget
refuses,
Lester, man?
He refuses to be an officer. He's great at what he does.
Yep.
He just wants to be an inside guy and do his thing. My cousin Jimmy, he's here. Jimmy Sperber, he's the one of my lieutenants. And
Back to we're talking about a family.
Family,
Yeah.
And it's good, but it's tough. Let me tell you, because it's very hard to separate church and state. Like when you have to do the chief's job, you have to take family out of it, but it doesn't stay at the firehouse.
Of course not.
It comes with you.
Of course not.
It goes to the next birthday party. It goes to Christmas. It goes to, so, we have to sit down as men or women or whatever, as a group and say, listen, we're talking right now as chief and lieutenant. When we're done, we're going to shake hands and we're going to walk out of here. Either we're going to agree or we're going to disagree, and it's done. Like, I don't drag things on. I can't. There's too much going on in my life. There's too much going on here. There's too much going on in everyday stuff.
In the world.
To drag it out.
Right.
Let's not drag it out.
What's funny? I recently was talking to a buddy of mine, and we were talking about the fire service, obviously, and he said something that hit me, hit me pretty hard. He says, isn't it a shame that it takes a death for everyone to realize we're being idiots and that we need to come together? And it's so true, man. When that, people hold grudges, and I do too. I'm guilty of it. And then something happens, someone passes away, someone dies, and then you're all looking at each other at the same venue.
It gets erased.
Yeah.
We joked about it the last couple dinners, and we and you've joked about it before. We always take a picture with our guys in uniform. We take a picture of just the one person in uniform. And we call it the death photo.
Yeah.
And that's sad because we don't have any fun photos. And you have to be careful what you post. You have to be careful with social media and
so
stuff like that.
different now.
It's way different. Like you can't. You don't want to offend somebody, but we got to toughen up a little bit and be like, listen, man, this is big boy stuff or big girl stuff. We're not just, whittling wood here and just passing it out to people driving down the road or making palm crosses.
And
we're saving people's lives.
And it's
here.
not a social club.
No.
It's not a social club. This is the real deal. I mean, and I've said this a million times over. It does not matter if you're getting a paycheck or you're volunteer. It's the same commitment. It's the same fire. The fire doesn't know the difference.
Nope. Nope.
And you know, again, what sets Bayville apart, in my opinion, to some others, is that the training. I know firsthand what training you do here. I love that you guys have that training group, and that you're posting the new trainings and new equipment and ideas. It's good stuff, you know.
Every day, you know, we push the training and we push our guys, and we don't mind giving credit where credit is due. And you know, we were one of the first to build the Denver drill.
Yes,
it's behind us, hidden over in the corner, but we had the Denver drill. We bring it down to different firehouse, different academies, and this substation here is, you know, obviously pretty large inside. So wintertime, we can drill too. We pull cars in here and do, you know.
I've cut cars in here.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
absolutely.
Man. And the Denver drill.
We do the Denver drill. And with the Denver drill, we adapted it to where we can do a below grade. We can do a wall breach. You know, we have the second floor here, so we could do a window bailout. We have so many different things we can do here, and we do it all the time. You know, there's the minimum requirement for you to be certified as level 2 team or just as a fast team now. And we well exceed that stuff, you know, and it's not only building camaraderie between our guys, but it's building confidence in them. So that way, when it does hit, you know,
and it's
when
going. It's
we
going
get that
to.
call, and we've had a few calls where we've had to jump in, and you know, luckily our training took over, and guys came out okay.
Absolutely.
You know,
And that's a testament to your training and a testament to the professionalism that this fire department holds. Bring me back to you being that snot-nosed member, right? And tell me about your first real fire, like the one that kind of said to you, "Oh my God, like this is the real deal."
Back in the mid '90s, I got a spot to take lieutenant, so I'm just 21-year-old kid. Just
You knew everything back then, though.
dude, I'm running.
We all did.
I'm running. Nothing can stop me. I'm unstoppable, right? I'm thinking, and each fire you get a little more confidence, a little more cocky, you know. And you're with your boys. Dude, we're firemen, you know. So I always remember, prior to this fire, that was one of my pivotal points in my career, is waiting at the firehouse. So I'm lieutenant. I'm like, dude, I got the front seat. My decisions, I'm good. And we used to have this old captain, George Cornelius, used to always tell me, he used to be like, he'd come in and he's like, the truck don't leave till I'm here. And I'm like, all right. You know, so I'd come in, I live real close to the firehouse, come in and I'm waiting. He'd show up. And I go, I mean, it didn't matter if it was a structure fire, if it was a fire alarm, it didn't matter, you know. He's like, kid, wait for the next truck. Okay. And I'm used to being on the first truck because I live really close, you know. So now I'm not on the truck anymore because he's running out. So now there goes the engine, there goes the truck. I wait for the next one. Yeah, on that one. All right, kid, you can go back. We don't need you. All right. You know, so I dealt with that for a long time, and I had guys tell me as a lieutenant, hey, listen, I've been here 20-something years. Do you think I'm going to listen to you? I've been a fireman longer than you've been alive in this, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. We'll deal with it. And sometimes you have to let things roll off your back. Yeah. It is what it is.
Yep.
So fast forward to June '97, middle of the night, we get tapped for structure fire. I'm first due, getting in front of the fire truck, getting the engine, coming down, and Chief Fred Mitchell was there. John Mancy was the chief then. Jeez, Freddie was on the truck with me because Fred was chief prior to that. He was one of the guys that you always looked up to, you know.
Right.
John was next, and John was always the guy he was the chief that would be inside, no pack on. He'd be like, "Yo, fire's over there." He was, and then he wasn't afraid of anything, you know. Albert Kessler was our assistant chief, and when we got there, obviously we didn't have the radio system that we have now, but we were dealing with radio stuff, and they were like, "You got to get in there. There's somebody in there," and we're like, "All right, dude, I'm 21.
That's what we live for,
dude. All right, no big deal." And you know, the first crew's got the inch 3/4 front door, and they're trying to get in, and they can't even make the front door. And they're like,
fire's just pushing them back,
rolling out the door. Fire's pushing out. We got heavy smoke coming out of the second floor, and you know, we're like, wow, this is it, dude. This is the deal.
Yeah.
So me and a couple other guys, Dennis LeRae, one of my great interior guys. Him and I talk all the time because he's one of the pivotal points here in Firehouse. He's one of the guys that kind of hangs back and tells you something in your ear because it shouldn't be out. hey, listen, watch for this, or hey, this is what I experienced since he was chief.
You need guys like that.
He was chief here, and he always tell me, hey, listen, watch out for this, or we got to do this. But back to the fire. So we pull up, and they're like, grab a second line. We got to get in this door. And we had hit the door. It was me, Dennis, Dave Harrick, and a couple other guys. We hit the door, and like there's fire rolling over our heads, and it was like someone just turned the heat off. We just went to work, dude. Like we went in, we made the stairs. We go up, and they're like, yeah, you just search the bedrooms. We're like, all right. So they're holding the fire, and it was a split level. So they're holding the fire, and I'm like, I lean over, and I'm like, wow, that's hot. Oh, it's just the handrail going up to the second floor. So I'm like, Dennis, let's go. We hit the stairs, no hose line. Dave's got the hose line down on the split level. We go up. He goes, I'll go right, you go left. No problem. So I hit the door. Goes in like halfway, and it doesn't open. I'm like, what the? Something must have fell over. I'm like,
I
whatever.
know what that is.
Dude, I hit this door, and you're in beast mode.
Yeah.
I'm not a big
Yeah.
guy. I'm not some,
Yeah.
big gym. But I hit the door, and I'm like, you ain't stopping me. So I take the door, open it up, and there he is. So laying there, bathroom. So I'm like, call Dennis, got him. Like I said, we didn't have radios back then. We were yelling down the stairs.
Yeah, nobody had them.
No. So went to grab him, and dude, it was like picking up a car.
The dead weight, man. No pun
Just,
intended.
no,
Yeah.
it's just picking up a car. And I'm like, oh, my God. So I get it done, get him out. We hit the stairs, and we do the first set of stairs. I hit the second set of stairs, and it come down like a wave. We're all on top of each other. We're at the door, and all our guys that were there are just pulling us out.
Ripping guys out,
Yep.
yeah.
And pulled him out. They did some rescue efforts. He made it for about a week, and went through the thing. And then one of the guys that I really talked to was Bigger. Biggs was there to do the fire invest, and he's like, listen, this is the job. This is what's going to happen. Like this is what you're going to see, and it really helped me with my understanding
And processing it.
And
you were 21.
Dude, and everything's going nuts, right?
And I think it's important for the young firefighters watching us right now, young girls and guys. This was before the days of YouTube,
Yeah.
social media, the type of the type of everything you're exposed to today, if you will. People are exposed to so much stuff. Like my kids are, my oldest is 14. She's watching things on the internet that we couldn't even dreamed of
No way.
at our age.
No
Right?
way.
So at 21 years old, unless you saw it in a magazine,
Yeah, Firehouse Magazine.
right? Unless you saw a body in a magazine
Yeah.
or at whatever. This is real life.
This is it.
This is it. Yeah.
So it kind of changed things, and you're starting to look at now reality setting in, and you're like, wow, this is the real deal, dude. Like, we need to step it up. We need to start, working together and communicating and stuff. So now we fast forward like 3 months. We get hit for another structure fire around the corner from where that one was, and they had reported 2 elderly females trapped in the house. We pulled up, and like I don't even think the air brakes were on. Like back then, we didn't talk about stuff. There was no airbags in the truck. Guys didn't wear seatbelts. You know what I mean? You had your pack on. You got dressed. You were standing, turning around, putting your stuff on. When that air brake hit, you were out the door.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember hitting the door, and the same 2-3 guys are with me. Your dirty dozen. We hit the door, and we didn't even have a hose line stretched. We got fire in the basement. We went right in the front door, and back then, we weren't doing fast team stuff or
Right.
RIT team stuff.
It wasn't even a thing.
No, it wasn't even a thing.
Yeah.
So we went in the house, and we're like, how are we going to get these 2 ladies out? I'm like, we can't even see. It's like swimming in the bay. Like, you can't see your hand, We don't live in the Caribbean, so everybody knows what we're talking about. So we grabbed these 2 ladies, and I'm like, well, we can't. How do you play God and pick one and say, I'll be back? We got 2 or 3 guys, and we got 2 victims. We're not. We got to make this work. We got to make it work quick. We grab a blanket on one, put the other one in a chair, in a office chair, whoosh, drag the one out with one person because now they're on a chair.
Right.
The other one with the blanket, we just pull them out and off to the races. So now we're flying, dude. Woo, we're going, So now move up the line from lieutenant, cool ride, and make captain.
Did those 2 females make it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yep. So it was that was a good one. That was
Yeah.
good.
So you had the death, and then shortly after within 3 months,
Within like 3 months.
you had 2 saves. So that's good. I mean, that definitely will bring up bring up the level.
And now you're thinking like, this is like we're like the big city, man. Like this is Croy. You know, we're rolling. We're doing.
And there's some departments that have been in that never had a safe. They've never had that opportunity at all, right? So yeah, you're right.
So, and that's what the thing is, and we always try to uphold that. Hey, Bayville's here. You know, we got the green trucks. You know, everyone's like, oh, the green trucks, the green trucks. You know,
I like it though. It's different, man.
So if you want, we can talk about that for a second.
Yeah, let's talk. Listen, there's no platform, as everybody knows. There's no script, so we just bounce all over the place. I like it.
No platform we can sit on either. We're sitting on the floor.
We are sitting on the floor in green
but we're
chair,
comfortable.
but they're green. So,
well, the Bayville Green went back to the early '80s.
I was gonna say because I have photographs of Bayville trucks that are red.
Red, yep, they were red, and they're different numbers. The old 563, you know, different time back then. We had a white one. So fast forward, and there was a hint, and this is only folklore. I don't know, because no one will ever tell you 100% how it happened. But what I'm told is, back in the 80s, there were supposed to be a lot of changes with NFPA. They were coming out with new regulations. As you can see now, new regulations with the chevrons on the back and stuff, and all reflective. We never had any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So there was talk that leaked out that they were going to try to go to this safety green, which they call school bus yellow.
Right.
Believe it or not, but it's green. And if you paint the trucks that, it's high visibility. You see the Turnpike trucks have that, New Jersey Turnpike and stuff. So we're going to do that, and we're going to beat the curve, and we're going to start painting some trucks and have them on the lot, you know. Because, you know, you don't just pull up to a lot and, hey, I want that truck right there. They have to build it, you know.
Yeah.
So they have all these trucks that are painted, and it doesn't go through. So now they're trying to be like, hey, clearance sale.
Yeah, we're going to get rid of these.
Clearance, you know. So we ended up getting one that was this color, and it just stuck, you know. And now we know there's other departments around that have the green and stuff like that. But they know in our area, in our response, in our mutual aid agreements and stuff that people, trust me, people know when Bayville's there.
Yeah.
And that's not being cocky. People know when Bayville's there, all right? You know, we're very big on accountability, very big on fast RIT team operations. We're very big on manpower. You know, we're not coming with we're bringing the cavalry.
Right.
We're coming. So,
and there's a lot of pride, you know, in your department. Obviously, with your logo, you know, that logo is everywhere, and it's not because you're trying to make space, you know, a clear space. It's because it means something to you. That logo means something to you guys.
Absolutely.
You know, it's everywhere.
You know, so it'll be around hopefully a lot longer than I'm here. Like I said, I can't believe how long I've been in the fire service, and I don't plan on going anywhere. I got plenty of time, you know, so I'm kind of riding the coattails now as chief is being good. You know, when I made captain, it was like the best spot ever. Any firehouse you go to, anyone will tell you that.
You realize everyone I interview is a chief, that's been a captain, everyone says that?
Well,
I mean, everyone says that.
And part of the thing, too, is, and I always think about it, is, you know, you're the top of the bottom and the bottom of the top. So you're right in the middle, and you're kind of cruising along. You're on cruise control, and, you know, you want to ride, you ride. You want to kick the lieutenant to the CO alarm or the fire alarm, you kick the lieutenant to the, you know what I mean? And it's not being you know, against somebody, or it's not being like being lazy or something like that, but it's like you're giving them some ride time. Mm-hmm. You know, you're teaching them some stuff, but also, you know, sometimes you get the gig. You know, you get the chief's car when the chief's out of town, or you know, because the assistant chief has his truck. And you know, I'll kick you back to June 2002. I'm captain, cruising along, and we had Chief Chuck Bonnell then. He's out in Cassville now, still going. He's got so many years in the fire service.
Such a good guy.
Oh yeah, he's been
such a good guy.
He worked with my dad for years. Good, really, you know, great guy, and learned a lot. You know, so he goes away. He's going down to the race in Dover, and we get the forest fire comes in. Jake's branch fire.
Oh yeah.
So it was like, dude, I've never seen so many fire companies at one fire in my life. I believe we had like 50-something fire companies here, right? So it's going crazy. Forest fire service. We got helicopters everywhere. We got trucks that I've never seen in my life, right? And Chuck's calling me, and I'm like, Chuck, I'm a little bit busy. And we just dealt with it, you know. But being captain, I still had that positive, hey, I'm the captain, I take care of this fire. I could run any fire you want. I know everything about, you know, you're in that I know everything mode, right?
Yeah.
Hit assistant chief, doing the same thing. You're just sitting back. You're kind of the support. The chief's got the gig. He's running the show. I'm just the support. I'm going to back him up. I'll be here when he's out of town, be here when he's not available for drills. the end of the day, you make chief, right? You make chief, and you're like, all of a sudden, like this fear sets in because you're like,
Oh my God, it's all on me.
it's on me. You know what I mean? I can't just show up and be that cockiness and run
Right.
it. Everything I do or say, you know, there's times where you put that out of place, and it's,
Oh, why is that there?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, got to check with the chief, or or your phone's ringing. Back then, we didn't even have cell phones.
Yep.
Now it's cell phones, a million text messages.
We had bag phones, but they were
Yeah.
like $700 an hour.
How much more simple was life, bro?
Oh my God.
You know.
like before getting attached to phones. And stuff. Oh yeah.
So now that you got the gig, you're in charge,
Yeah.
right? So you're like, all right, now this is like all reality has set in, and it's like,
And it doesn't matter if you're at the race in Dover, you're still in charge.
You're in
And
charge.
and you're responsible.
that's right.
Right.
So we rolled to 2005. I'm chief. 2006, 2005, good. Good year. We did everything. I mean, we had all the different structure fires, car crashes, you know, the whole thing. We're doing extrications. We're doing rescues and floating through. 2006 sets in. We're rolling through, and Easter. We get the Easter fire.
That's one of those photos up
Yes,
there.
sir. It's right up
Yeah.
over there in the corner. We get Easter fire comes in. I'm down in my mother-in-law's, you know, eating turkey, hanging out, you know, getting ready to take my little afternoon nap after everybody got that tryptophan in. And structure fire comes in, right? So we boogie on up, and we get to the fire, and it's ripping. It's coming out the first floor. It's attacking the second floor. You know, they're reporting that one person's missing. So we're setting up aerial operations. We got lines in the door. We're doing stuff. And we have radios. We have communication. But sometimes you get guys that are on scene that just don't listen. They just don't get it. And you're like, you know, you're trying to do everything. And playing chief is like you're juggling.
Yeah.
You know? And,
Some say it's like orchestrating.
Absolutely. And sometimes you lose track of the, you know, the one section, the horn section, or the whatever section.
Right.
And unfortunately for us, we had a crew on the second floor, and I had about 4 guys up there. Just made the second floor, and they're pushing fire. And I know they're pushing fire because I can see the color starting to change, and I can see, you know, we're making progress. They're not excited on the radio. They're not yelling. You know, sometimes you got people that yell on the radio. Our guys are pretty decent, and I can tell in somebody's voice
If there's a problem.
if there's a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're going good. We're doing our thing. We're having water supply problems. We're working on getting that taken care of. And someone decides to force a door on the, you know, Bravo side of the building. And we had a strong west wind. And now it just changed everything.
Off to the races.
It was like within a half a second, you couldn't even get O out of your mouth. And you can see the picture over there. I had 3 or 4 guys up on the roof that were doing ventilation. It was like someone turned a light switch off. We're in the middle of the day, and it was like black, just big column. They can't find the bucket. I'm screaming, get them off the roof. My interior crew screaming. They said that they went from partially standing up, like on their knees fighting fire, to trying to climb through the floor because their gloves were burning.
Yeah.
So they bail out. They come down the stairs. I got guys with, you know, some minor burns. They got some pretty significant stuff, you know, injuries and stuff. And like, to me now, this is the next level of now what, you know, 'cause you got your manpower pool, you got stuff, and it's like, now what? Now what do I do?
Your whole fire
Because
changed.
you're trying to take care of your guys, but you're also trying to take care of the fire.
Yeah, you still have
There's
suppression.
So many things going on, you know, and luckily all the officers kind of just did their thing. Like it was just a change of gears. It was not a big deal. It was just like stepping on the gas. Let's step it up. We'll do this. You know, we got our guys out, got them taken care of. EMS transported them. I sent 2 to the hospital with some minor burns. Lost about $50,000 in equipment.
Oof.
Is what it is.
All
Write
by,
it off.
All by one door.
By one door.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just, that was the reality of, hey, I almost lost family. I almost lost my friends here. And, you know, it's some people would say, well, you got to expect that, or that's part of the job. But unless you experience it, you know what I mean? Like, you're seeing the public, you're seeing, you know, your customers. These are our customers.
Absolutely.
And we're providing a product here, and we try to provide the best product we can. These are our customers, and, you know, it's just different when you see family in trouble, and you're like, got to stay focused, got to keep moving. And we did a great job. And it was just like, you know, hey guys, we can't do that anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we need to be on top of this because now we just learned a lesson. So we fast forward, 2006, cool. 2007, I'm chief, it's cool. 2008, my brother comes in. So I step down as chief, go back to assistant. We had some pretty significant fires, sandalwood. We had, just different stuff. And he's rocking and rolling. He's doing great. But I feel like now I'm in cruise control because I'm not. I'm not the guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't have the gig.
Right.
So just cruising along, and then we're doing great. Guys are training. Guys are learning. The camaraderie and the brotherhood is strong. And
and that's the goal, man.
Well, I know it's strong because you got to realize is we don't always have to get along. We don't always get along, but we have to either agree to disagree, or we're just going to drop it. Like I said before, we got to toughen up a little bit. And listen, I'm not afraid to tell you what's on my mind, but it's going to be between me and you. It's going to be in private. Let's take care of it and be done with it. And then when we're done with it, walk away.
Yeah, shake hands and move along.
We've had guys here, yelling, right nose to nose. We've taken the guys and cooled them off and walked away. I've had it with my brother. I've had it with my cousin. We do that, but that's because of the passion that's here.
I was just going to say that.
You know what I mean?
It's because you have passion and you love what you do.
This is it. This is our home.
Right.
This is our house. Like, God forbid, could you imagine if someone disrespected your house? This is our house. This is our pride and joy.
Absolutely.
This is our baby. This is our boys. You know what I mean? This is our girls. And we got guys here, we got girls here, and everyone's killing it, dude. We're blowing it away. So I cruised back to assistant chief, hanging out. One of the nights we had to go up to pick up one of our pieces of apparatus up in Piscataway. So chief's like, I'm gonna take a ride. I'll run the guys up there in my chief's car. You're around town, no big deal. He cruises up. So that's our first line pumper. It's heading up there, and they're like halfway back, and we get tapped for structure fire. All right, got the gig. And I always joke because I always say that the pager should go off. Just say you have a call. Because
I agree, man.
I've seen it in the past, and
That
trying to
dictates
figure out
response, man.
absolutely
Yeah.
trying to figure out how many calls you've been to is hard. And 26 years here at 600 calls a year, it's a lot of calls.
Yeah.
And I always see the difference in the guys, and I can hear it in their voice when they say CO alarm versus structure fire. Not that CO alarm is any less dangerous, but for some reason when you say structure fire, guys just
Oh, absolutely.
it's like an explosion.
And you can even hear it, and I've talked about this on a couple of other episodes. I strongly believe that the dispatcher's tone will dictate the guy's response.
100%. 100%. That's your lifeline up there. And if you get a storm coming through and you got a couple jobs working, they're trying to, they're playing chief up there because they got a million things going on.
Yep.
And sometimes I don't know how they do it. And the problem up there is they're sitting at a desk and they
Right.
can't see what's going on.
That's a helpless feeling, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I mean, they're sending people where they need to be, but it's a helpless feeling not to be able to help,
radio issues, we get power issues and stuff like that. So, it's a helpless feeling. And we go through this. So we get tapped for the structure fire, right? Cruise on over there, 20 Corrigan Ave over towards the Pine Beach border. We show up, 2-story, nothing crazy. We got fire on the second floor. Somebody said they saw the fire in a stairwell, blah, blah, blah. So we're doing 1.75 inch. We get our backup line. We got water supplies coming in. They're setting up the water supplies. So we said before, like, big things don't just happen. Little things start.
Small fires.
Small fires start, and little things start to do the snowball effect, right? Our water supply has an issue because of an adapter and just different stuff going on. So we're a little delayed with water supply. So we're working on that, but we don't really need it yet. We're
Right.
good. We still got some tank water we're working on. They're knocking fire down. My guys are inside. They're up on the second floor. Now I'm only assistant chief. Like I said, I'm on cruise control. Like, I did my time.
Yeah.
I'm vacation mode, right? So guys make the second floor, and they're not in there like 2 minutes. And then all of a sudden I'm hearing a mayday on the radio. And I'm like, stomach just drops.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Game changer.
yeah.
Yeah.
You go through that, they talk about temporal distortion. And I'm familiar with a lot of terms and stuff and been there. They talk about temporal distortion. Time, it was crazy because it was like a split screen. Time stopped, and time over here is flying, and there's no in between. It's like over here, it's like guys are moving like cold molasses on a winter day in Alaska. right? And you're like, let's, you know what I mean? You want to freak out, but you can't raise your voice because
Then you're gonna.
it plays
Right,
down.
right.
I learned that from Biggs.
Yep.
You know, I've never seen him yell. Well, I did see him yell once, but it's, you know, if you keep that,
That must have been ugly.
well, it was well deserved. Trust me. He taught me a long time, Johnny, if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. I got you, Biggs. So, you know, trying to get the guys moving, and then it's like, you got to remember, this is family in here. Mm-hmm. And luckily for us, because we do the fast team training, or rich team, whatever you want to call it, you know, we do the firefighter down, we do the, hey, what if? We play what ifs all the time, and we do it in training. We'll cut the water supply, we'll cut the hose, we'll break the not break it, but we'll turn the nozzle off and say, all right, now what?
Now what? You have no
what do you
water.
do? What are you doing? So one of our firefighters, Steve Casper, makes the second floor. He's got the nozzle. He's up on a going up the stairwell, and he falls through the stairs. And now the way the house is, it's got the stairs go to the second floor, and underneath is the stairs go down to the basement.
Yes.
So he goes down, takes the hose line with him, goes for the ride. You know, 2 or 3 of our guys are Dirty Dozen again. Dennis, one of them. You know, Brian Gunnagle, we had a couple guys inside there with him. Pretty much go through the hole after him and grab him. And they're calming him down. They're calming each other down. They're making sure he's good. So then they go back around. They actually have to go into the basement and pull him up out of the basement. They help him out, and you can see in the picture, that's right after they pulled him out of, you know, the call. So you can see in the background that the flames are, now it's ripping because, you know, there's nobody trapped. But now we got one of our guys trapped, and we got him out. And it's like, time is just standing still. And it's one of my best friends. And now I'm like, dude, keep it cool. Keep trucking. Just
And you
gotta
know,
move forward, man.
and you know the guys are doing what they're supposed to do.
Yep.
And we're gonna get them out.
Yep. And just we made it happen.
And this is what we talk about all the time. It's that, you know, how can we not call each other brothers? How can we not call each other family when your life is literally in the balance like that, and we're there for each other.
Yeah.
And then people make fun of the the police and fire service, and they're not brothers and all this. How can you not call it that? You know, when it's that serious.
You know, and you don't want to offend anybody when you say brothers. We have females here too. One of my firefighters, Lisa, she's top notch. Mm-hmm. She's a career up in North Hudson. She was
the first female, right?
Yeah.
In North Hudson?
Well, first female in North Hudson, yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Aces. And, you know, she's not offended when we call her, hey, brothers, you know what I mean, like that. She knows. We call her sister, you know, we call her, hey, guys. Because it's not about that.
Right.
It's about here. It's about your house. It's about the sticking together.
Family's
you
family.
can call her
family.
whatever you want, and I can tell you what,
Right.
she'll call you right back, and we're moving on. Let's go, you know. And one of the first people, you know, to be on the truck and be ready to go, you know, are guys that doesn't matter to them. Call me whatever you want, just don't call me late for dinner, right?
Isn't that a fact?
Let's be honest, you know what I mean? Like, we got a job to do here. At one point in your career, you're going to be upset. Mm-hmm. You're going to be offended. You're going to be turned off. You're going to be, you know, bewildered. You're going to be, you know, crying in your bed. And other times you're going to be so happy that you're going to be like, man, it's like watching your kid graduate high school. When these guys come out of fire school, you know, we just had one of our firefighters graduate the Ocean County Fire Academy, firefighter 1 and 2, got an award. That's, you know what I mean? Our assistant chief, when he graduated fire school, got an award. Like, our guys they're not only representing themselves, but us, and they're doing it.
It's funny that graduation, I was a keynote speaker at.
Yes.
And
very impressed.
Thank you. When I was asked to do that by Ray, I'm like, why? You know what I mean? Like, there's when I think about the people, the caliber of people we have in this county, the firefighters that we have, that could have been standing up there giving that speech, and then to be asked was an unbelievable honor to me. And as I'm, sitting there looking at everybody and looking at the recruits and thinking to myself, it's unbelievable to me to think that, I was sitting in those seats at one time, and where we've all become and where we've all came at this point in our careers, and it's like, it's almost surreal, if you will,
Mm-hmm. I agree. And you're like, when you asked me to do the show, I'm like, I'm not one of those guys. I'm not, up to the level of being, some type of pivotal person in the fire service.
But that's because you're humble, and that's because. But I guarantee you, the people watching will absolutely disagree with you, because Everyone's been looking forward to this, and again, I know, I don't think, I know you have something to say. You have something to offer. And, you know, being a mentor now, and we use this word a lot in the fire service, you know, mentoring and this stuff, firemanship. We had mentors back in the day.
Absolutely.
We just didn't call them mentors.
Right.
Right? So we had the guys that were pushing us, but it was different then because back then they'd curse at you and call you a moron and tell them you're doing it wrong. It's different now. You can't do that kind of thing,
Right.
obviously. But we got the point. Right?
Quickly.
Yeah, and you didn't do that again because you
Right.
knew. And what's interesting to me is, and you know, maybe not here, but what I'm starting to see a little bit out there is, if I'm the chief and I'm going to threaten to suspend you, you're a firefighter. Like back in the day, can you imagine if they told us that?
Oh,
I'd be devastated.
Absolutely.
Like, oh my God, I can't go to the firehouse. What do you mean I'm suspended? Like now what? But now it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what are you saying? For like a month, I don't have to come here?
yeah, and I get free credit. I could just kind of, yeah.
It's just interesting to me how it changed. How that happened. Like the culture is so much different now, and we're trying to get that
it back.
back.
Yeah.
What do you think it is that how do you think we can get back some of our old traditions? Like you just said, maybe in your opinion, we have to toughen up a little bit. Would you say that maybe is part of your message?
Well, I think one of the things is we definitely have to toughen up a little bit, and don't take things so literal. Sometimes people speak because of the heat of the moment. You're going to yell and say a curse word when you stub your toe, all right? I'm not going to hold it against you because you said a curse word for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, something happens. You need to deal with it. Let's talk about it, move forward. And sometimes things aren't intentional, all right? Sometimes might say, grab the effing line over there, because they need it like right now, and that's their way of saying step it up. So I don't like to say step it up on the radio or expedite because I figure that you come here as fast and safely as you can, and that's what you're going to do.
And that brings me to another point. You guys had a line of duty death here.
Yes, sir.
Right? Let's talk about that line of duty death because that kind of literally just spawned me into what you just said.
November 20th, 1988, we had a motor vehicle crash over on Route 9, middle of a rainstorm. It was like a monsoon, like we got last night. The extrication, so they're calling guys in, bringing the stuff in, and one of our members was coming to this station, and you can see the truck in the background. The ladder truck's actually dedicated to Gene Fury. Lost control of his vehicle, coming into town, and went into a set of trees, and ultimately he succumbed to his injuries. So that changed everything here. I think if that doesn't hit home with everybody, I don't know what will.
Right.
I mean, because, myself with a couple other guys, and not to add things onto my plate, but myself and a couple other guys here in the firehouse and in the 3 fire departments in Berkeley Township, we started the Firefighters Memorial in Berkeley Township. We just dedicated a statue out at Veterans Park. We have a nice area.
It's beautiful, by the way.
The stones and everything.
It's beautiful, man.
It's awesome.
I'm going to add it to the show so people can see it.
It's one of our prides that we took almost 10 years to raise this money and put the names on a stone. We don't want to put the names on a stone, but Gene has his own stone dedicated to him. And his wife and daughter are just still devastated. And we're talking 1988, and you got to remember, I didn't know Gene. He was killed prior to me starting in Bayville Fire Company. So it was a passion of mine. It's still a passion of mine, and I think that they shouldn't die in vain.
Absolutely not.
And it shouldn't be something that's just kind of blown to the wayside. And I think to this day, we still talk about it. It's still something that's on our plate. We've had so many close calls. We just talked about fires. We had so many close calls. Mm-hmm. And I can't imagine. But I mean, I've had to go to funerals and call guys to cadence during a lot of my friends here, and it's just because of age or just because of disease or whatever it may be, and 2 ex-chiefs that were here, we call them ex here in Bayville, it's not a pastor, we call them ex, is what it is. 2 ex-chiefs here, I did their funerals. I had to read their eulogy and keep it together. And
Not easy.
No.
Because, and you know why it's not easy? It's because passion.
Personal. It's personal. It's
Right?
passion. Yeah.
It's passion.
Yeah.
You feel for these people. It's family. It's like brother, like you said. And the reason I brought up Gene's crash is because when you're the chief and you're saying slow the F down, slow down, I'm telling you, that was 1988.
Yeah.
Right? Think about 2019, people are on their cell phones, people on opiates.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like bumper cars
Yeah.
out there right
Distracted
now.
driving
It's
is
so bad, right?
ridiculous.
You know, it's
absolutely.
we know on another level how bad it is out there. Distracted driving. So, and now we're telling people, now you get the call for the structure fire, and you're like 0 to 100.
Yeah.
You're 0 to 100. You're not paying attention. Tunnel vision, and next thing you know, someone's texting and they're going into your lane. You're not paying attention. Your speed, and then that. Jesus Christ, that poor kid comes out in front of you on a bicycle, and
could you imagine?
And you're doing 70 in a 25 because you're amped up trying to get the fight. And this is why we try to tell these young guys and girls, the fires, slow down. Like, and of course it comes off as,
being, oh, you're the fun police.
Yeah.
You're being, you guys got to get there. I got to get there first. I got to get the nozzle. Let me tell you something. If it's about getting a nozzle, I'll take the nozzle in. And none of you is going to get it because it's about safety. It's about don't be that guy or girl.
As time goes on and it becomes more and more of a tens of population as it's been, right? It's going to get to the point where almost like a duty crew will have to volunteer, whatever. It's going to get to the point where you're going to stay at the firehouse volunteers because of that. It's just it's so dangerous now. Trying to get to the firehouse and that, and his death led me down that road where it's dangerous getting to the firehouse. Extremely dangerous.
And like I said, we talk about his death at least once a week, once a month here because it's part of here. And we can't change history. I always heard, history is the history, and it's the history of Bayville Fire Company. And not only do we have to be careful what we say because the words are like bullets, can't get them back.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you say that expedite or step it up, what are guys doing? Blinders, outrunning the siren. They're not stopping at
0 to 100.
Oh, it is what it's full throttle, and you can't do that.
So listen, I love talking about the fire service. You know that, you do too.
Yeah, man.
But there's a life outside the fire department.
Yeah,
right? There has to be.
There has to be.
There has to be. Otherwise, you're going to burn out, and you're going to be done.
Yep.
So you have to have hobbies. You have to have other outlets. This obviously is. Which I guess it's an oxymoron, right? Because it's fire service. But for me, this is my outlet, right? You have a very different outlet.
Yep.
So you're used to being in front of the mic.
Yeah, it's
So tell everybody what you do as a hobby.
I play drums in a band, Bullseye Band. I play with Tom Bazzanella. We have Tom Baz and Johnny Sticks, so that's kind of my alter ego. Do my thing. We jam out a couple times a week, and that's kind of my sanctuary.
Is it your outlet?
Well, it's just like setting up here today. You still got to set your stuff up, and it's like when you're doing it, it's fun.
Yeah,
When you get done,
I don't mind doing this.
Nah, when you get done and you look at the end product, when you play a song and you can see, it takes people away from everyday life for a minute. You see people that are having the worst day of their life, and you can do something with like a song, and it brings them up. It's exhilarating. It's cool, and that's my stress relief.
Have you had people tell you that?
Absolutely.
Is that why you're saying it?
I've had so many people come up and say, "Dude, you guys played awesome. You guys make my day." Ask us to play at weddings. We've played all kinds of benefits. We play at the for the military. We do a lot of benefits for the military. We played up in Long Island last year for the families of the people that are sent overseas, and it was like family day. It's like the day before they get shipped out.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
So they're all there, and it was funny because we play Southern rock, country. We're a country band, and we're playing our thing, and there was this band that was there, and they play all steel drums.
Cool.
Right? We actually played like 3 or 4 songs together. Never met them before a day in our lives. This gentleman and his wife, they take on children from parents in the military that are deployed, and they teach them music.
Oh, that's awesome.
So there's like 20 kids there and dude, 2 of my kids in one spot is like a lot. They have 20 kids, and they're taking care, and they're all playing different musical instruments and stuff. And we all sat down, and dude, we jammed out, and we had such a great time. And it was so good to see like smiles on people's faces.
Yeah.
And it's funny because people always say that music drives people. Music can take you away. Music can make or break your day.
It absolutely does for me.
And
I couldn't imagine a life without music.
It's one of those things. It hits home. And you know, I hate to bring it up, but one of my friends had passed away, and he's like, "You better play at my funeral," and we did it.
You did?
Yeah, we did it. We played one song at the church, and it was pretty rough.
What was that? What was that like for you?
Added to my bucket list.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
it
didn't
hits
even,
you.
I didn't even know that, man.
Yeah.
That's
Played at his wedding, and I played at his funeral.
Who's that?
Mark Kentos.
Okay.
So
Yeah. So you came through on your promise.
yeah. Yep.
I didn't mean to upset
No,
you.
no,
man.
no. It's good, man. It's good.
It's good.
I'm human.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
We all are, and I think that's something that needs to come from this. You know, we're not
But,
robots.
no, we did it.
If you can think back of, I hate to say this because I always get afterwards people yell at me like, "Oh, I can't think of one person. I can't think of one person that you know inspired me or one person that drove me." There was many people. Is there a one person that you looked up to? So was there one person in the fire service that you took a shine to and said like, "This is who I want to be. This is who I want to be like," or was it like multiple people within the fire department?
There's always a few. There's always a couple. The big names that you always saw, that you grew up with. You know what I mean, and that always did great things. I'm just trying to think because there's so many. You don't want to leave somebody back. You don't want to offend somebody. You don't want to leave anybody out.
This is what everybody says.
You know,
yeah.
but I definitely got to say, you know, two of the biggest is my father and my grandfather because, you know, some of the stories they used to tell, like, you know, falling through roofs and jumping from building to building and stuff like that. I always wanted to be that guy. And, you know, my grandfather was the kind of guy, he sat in a chair, didn't say much, you know, newspaper, you knew you were in trouble because he put the paper down, he'd look at you, and he put the paper back. That was your warning. You know what I mean? That was your warning. So I might try that to see if that works. But just, you know, my dad, because he never stopped. 2 jobs all the time, 6 kids. You know, he was always working. He was always helping somebody. He was always, you know, even when he got sick, he had cancer real bad, and still never stopped. Full throttle the whole time.
So you literally are like him.
Yeah.
I mean, you are that guy. You're the guy that people can call 3 o'clock in the morning. Yo, John. Okay, I'm dressed right now. Where
Yep.
are we going?
Let's
You
do
know?
it.
So
It
that, you got that
happens
from
a
your
lot.
father.
And you know what's funny? I used to be offended when people say, "You look like your dad." You know, you act like your dad. I used to be like, no. Now I take that as a compliment because
Yeah.
I had gone to a viewing the other day and walked in, and one of the old family members we haven't seen in a long time, he's like, "John?" I go, "Hey, how you doing?" He's like, "I thought it was your father walking in." So I'm like, wow.
Well, if my dad's walking, we got a problem.
Right? So, you know, he passed away in 2015, but it's like, to me, that's flattering now. Like, I take that as a compliment when people say, "You're just like your father."
That's awesome.
You know,
man.
so.
That's good stuff, man. So the goal here was to, you know, get you talking about Bayville, and off camera when we talked, the one thing you said to me is like, you know, I love it here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love being here. It shows. I mean, the amount of dedication and pride that you put into this place, and over the years, and not just you, a lot of guys. You know, a lot of guys put forward that effort. What do you want to see out of this place? Like, what do you want to see in the next few years come out of Bayville?
I want it to set the bar where we are now, and I want guys to keep exceeding it, keep breaking the records, you know, we had Superstorm Sandy. You know, everybody talks about that. You know, we thought we were planned out. We thought we had everything ready. We were getting food. We were getting water. We were getting guys set up. And earlier that day, the storm hits, and we get whacked for a structure fire over an Ocean Gate.
That's
and
right.
It set the tone.
Yeah.
For the rest of the day, because it was utter chaos.
And then you had 2 in Pine Beach right after.
2 in
right?
Pine Beach. Yeah. Then we had the strip mall up in Beechwood Beach Plaza. So multiple wires, calls, people calling for help. You know, the water's up to the roof. Mm-hmm. My house flooded. Like I said before, my wife is a saint. We lived at the firehouse. I only had my first daughter. She was like 6 months old, and she was literally taking baths in the sink at the firehouse because we lived in a tent.
Yeah.
Inside the hall.
For
like 3 weeks.
I remember the pictures, yeah.
For like 3 weeks because we didn't have a house.
Right.
You know, and it was, you know, sorry, honey, I got to go. I know you got a 6-month-old. We just lost our house. Like, we didn't lose it, but it was severely damaged. We couldn't live in it with no electric and stuff like that. So it's like, I want the guys not only to have that dedication, but the drive. And I want people 10, 15, 20 years from now to go, Bayville's here. They're here.
So you don't ever want. So You don't want to lose that.
No, I don't want people to be like, oh God, here they come. I want people to be like, oh, thank God, Bayville's here. They're here. You know, like there is nobody better. I'll never take away from anybody else, any other fire company, how great they are at what they do. You know, talk about the big departments, FDMI. One of my buddies, the captain in Jersey City. You know, Atlantic City Fire Department. I know guys. My wife always laughs at me because I can talk to anybody, but I know people over the country between riding my bike, you know, playing with the band, just going out on vacation and stuff. I'll talk to anybody, and I have friends, and I could call because I used to be a truck driver. You got a flat tire in Wyoming. We didn't have a cell phone to be like, hey, where's the next tire, please? You know, like you called a friend from a payphone and said, hey, buddy, I got a flat tire. Can you help me out? Yeah, I'll be there in a little while. You know, so not to take away from anybody there, but I want them to set the bar. I want my guys to be like, we are Bayville. And when Bayville's here, you're going to know it. And we are going to be the best. We are going to set the bar. Our guys are going to be trained. They're going to have the equipment. They're going to have the drive. That's the biggest thing. I want to bring the drive.
Yeah.
Do it.
I agree. And I say this. I love being a fireman. I love
best job in the world.
I love the smell. I love, like, just when you walk into any firehouse, you get immediately in the door, you get that the smell of the bay. You know, the smell of the bay of the firehouse. I mean, I love everything about it, man. I love the camaraderie. I love the guys and girls, and I love what we've built throughout all these years and stuff. And we've come a long way, man.
Oh, yeah.
And we definitely come a long way. Last thing I'll ask you before I get you off the seat, what's your message to that brand new firefighter that's walking through the back door? Before they're even in the academy, I'm talking about the person with the application at the door. Hey, I want to be a firefighter. Girl, guy, whatever. What are you saying to him?
You need to look at the old guy. You need to come in and hang out and see if this job is for you. If this job isn't for everybody, we have plenty of jobs to do because you may not be the nozzle. You might not be the vent guy. You might not be a ladder guy. You might be afraid of heights. But there's still something for you to do. I will find something for you to do. You know what I mean? Just because you can't lift 500 pounds doesn't mean I can't get you to do something else. Like, have the drive to do this. This is not just show up and pass. Yeah. We're not giving away free trophies. We're not giving around. You know, you want a T-shirt and a sticker, you got to go somewhere else. You know, go. You know, do something for free or go do some type of benefit or something like that if that's what you want to do. But if you want to be here, you got to have the drive. You got to have the ambition, integrity. You know, and the commitment. I mean, the commitment is the biggest thing. And you know, you represent this. No matter where you go, you're always wearing a T-shirt. How many guys, no matter where they go, they always got a firehouse T-shirt on because they love what they do. They just had the whole study just came out yesterday. It was on all over the internet that firefighters have the highest satisfaction rate in their job.
On their job, yeah. I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that too.
It doesn't mean you have to be a career or volunteer.
Yeah.
Either way, you're still, this is what you want to do. Nobody's making you do this. But when you're here, I expect the best.
Absolutely. And you'll get the best because that's what you strive for. That's good. Well, listen, brother, it's super. It means so much for me if you come on the show, man.
Dude,
I finally got you.
Yeah, I'm so happy I'm here. I was, blown away when you asked me, and it was just like overwhelming. And I was like, wow, can I really do that?
Dude, you killed it, man. You killed it. So listen, before you go, because I told you these sponsors that we have, right?
Yeah.
So Next Rung, our buddy Blake and Charlie over at Next Rung, I know you've seen them on Instagram and Facebook and all that. They're going to give you a T-shirt. Oh. So they're shipping it out to me.
Nice.
So you'll be getting that. Thank you, guys. I appreciate very much that we got the Chief a T-shirt. And, of course, I have some other goodies here for you. Oh. So because, you're on the show, you get the famous famous PintheQ patch.
There you go.
That was from Eagle Emblems and Graphics, my buddy Sal. So
that's awesome.
And then you talked about firemen and stickers, right? Decals.
Oh, man. My wife's like, if you bring over another T-shirt or a sticker.
Sorry. So there's some helmet decals.
All right.
This is our No One Fights Alone campaign. Again, this is a donation from Sal at Eagle Emblems and Graphics.
I love it.
And because you have 2 firehouses, we have one of these for each firehouse.
Okay.
If you would mind hanging these up.
Absolutely not.
If the guys need them or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Next Rung Green Monday.
Man.
Right? You gotta have one of those.
Yeah,
and, of
buddy.
course, we got the big boy sticker now.
Nice.
So that might go on your, as you call it, the gig.
On the gig.
That has to go on a gig.
Got to go on a gig.
And lastly, now remember
it's like Christmas time.
Remember at the beginning of the episode I said, special. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're getting something that no one else has had yet.
Wow.
Right? No one else has had this.
I love it.
You're gonna like this, bud.
Yeah?
I think you're gonna like this. It's not. Others have had this, but not this.
Oh.
You ready? All right. I don't know if you are.
I'm super excited.
I don't know if you can handle this. Ready? It's green.
Oh, I love it. Dude, that's awesome.
So it's just says episode 23, Chief John Anderson.
Wow.
With the PintheQ logo, and it's green. That's a special
Dude,
request.
it's the best ever. I appreciate it.
Nah, no worries, man. Thanks for coming
brother.
on the show.
Listen, man, I got some swag for you too.
I like swag.
So I don't know which way you want to take this in. We have the official.
Yes, that is awesome, dude. I'm gonna hang that up.
The official front for the. That's seen some fire.
That's awesome.
Seen some fire.
Thanks, brother.
Yep. I got the.
Oh yes,
Yes, I save everything. I save it. Ask my guys.
Dude, that's when I had hair.
Oh, dude.
What? I used to have hair.
Between pictures and the memory, I save everything.
That's good. I'm glad you do.
We got to the official Bayville Fire Company challenge coin.
Sweet. Look at that.
All right. Make sure you carry that. My guys drop that on me all the time.
Oh, trust me, I'll carry it.
They drop it on me all the time.
That's
and we
okay.
got the,
and what happens if you don't have your coin on you?
Well, then you got to buy drinks.
Mm-hmm. That's why you always carry your coin with you. Some people
up.
think you're supposed to put these on those wooden things.
No. You got to keep them with you.
Yeah, I will. Thank you, brother.
And then we got some Bayville Fire Company. We've got some Hulk stickers, and then guys are going to be upset because this is an oldie but goodie. So they don't make those anymore. That was one of from probably the early '90s. But we have the Hulk sticker helmet. And
that's awesome. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man.
Right? I appreciate
and you know what this stuff means to me, man.
Absolutely.
So this
well,
is
we
good.
get it.
We totally get it, man. But listen, it means so much to me. You finally came on, man. I'm glad.
I appreciate it.
I think you liked it.
I love that. I feel like a weight has been lifted off my chest.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you.
All right, man. Well, here you have it. It's I know episode 24 is already out there, but 23 was in the making.
We do a different Bayville.
We do a different Bayville. And again, Chief was nice enough to bring us into the firehouse here. This is the substation where the tower ladder sits, the tanker, which is right behind me, his favorite truck to drive, which you never mentioned. I was surprised. And in the pumper. So, again, Bayville Fire Department, Ocean County, New Jersey, episode 23, Chief John Anderson. PintheQ podcast. Stay with us. Remember, stay safe and look out for each other.
Come on, sing along. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA. Well, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time to stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the man who died, gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you in the Fanhurst still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this place. God bless the USA. Yeah, I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the man who died.
Thank you for listening to another Pin the Q production. Be sure to subscribe and like us on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. For more information on Pin the Q Productions, visit www.pintheq.com. Thank you.